Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. We got a bit of a 2-for-1 special for you guys today. We're going to check out the latest Mel Kiper Mock Draft, see what he has Denver doing, and then we'll look at the GM George Paton's press conference remarks. He had some very interesting things to say out at Indianapolis, where he is at for the NFL Combine. So we'll take a look at both of those topics. But before we get into the mock draft, if you guys love mock drafts, I am a hoe for them, then go ahead and like this video. I don't know about you guys, but I just love consuming every kind of mock draft I can get my hand on, because it's just fun to see what other ideas people have for what they think the NFL is going to do in April and in May. So let me know if you love mock drafts by hitting that thumbs up icon. ESPN's Mel Kiper dropped the latest mock draft as we get ready for the NFL Combine. So here are his picks 1 through 5. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but he's got a bit of a change up there, right? Ikuonu going first overall to the Jags. But let's move on towards the Broncos pick. So we start with number 6, Charles Cross, going to the Panthers. And then Devin Lloyd falls to the Giants at 7. And then you got the Falcons at 8, doubling up at the corner position with Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And then at number 9... Well, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, no, producer Sam told me right now we have a trade at number 9. Actually, the Cleveland Browns are trading up to get the number 9 overall pick from the Broncos. The trade details, according to Mel Kiper, are a 2022 first-round swap. So Denver goes back to number 13 where the Browns are picking. And in addition, for giving up that number 9 spot, the Broncos received the Browns' 2022 third-round pick. Cleveland has 2 third-round picks, so we're not sure which one of those it is. They've got a comp pick and their own pick, but ultimately, a swap of first-rounders, and to make up for that loss of 5 picks, a third-rounder goes towards Denver's direction. What would you guys do, though, if you were the Broncos in this position? Would you trade back in the draft? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I love trading back. I like the idea of stockpiling picks. The Broncos, they've got 5 picks in the top 100 already. What's another one, right? How about we have 6 in the top 100? But with that in mind, and the new number 9 pick belonging to the Browns, they go with Drake London, actually. Yeah, so Cleveland, I guess, doesn't want to wait to see if they can get their top wide receiver, so they pick up the phone and call Denver to get that top 10 spot. So now we move on towards where Denver's going to be at the number 13 pick. Linderbaum, he goes to the Jets at number 10. Pickett, the first quarterback taken in this mock draft, to the Washington Commanders at 11. Then Derek Stingley, a top corner, falls to the Vikings at 12. And now the Broncos, drumroll please, Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. That's who Denver ends up picking in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. Fix up that defensive end edge position. So let's do some homework on Johnson. Let's figure out who he is as a player. Personally, he's one of my favorite edge rushers in this draft class. If you guys have watched some of my draft videos in the last couple of weeks as we ramp up our draft coverage, you guys have noticed I have been very high on this guy for a couple of reasons. One, he's got a great combination of speed and strength. So when you watch players' highlights and you watch them back in the fall, what I'm looking for is what is their arsenal made up of, especially edge rushers. Are they speed? Are they just trying to rely on their speed against tackles in college football to beat them around the edge? Is it all strength? Are they just going to go, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to bulldoze you? I love guys that have a combination of the two things, because guess what? The left tackle you play at Rutgers or you play at Wake Forest isn't going to be the guy you see in the NFL. So if you can incorporate speed and strength, I love seeing that. And plus, Johnson is not just a pass rusher. He is very good in the run game. He's a hustle kind of defensive end that's going to stick with the play and follow it. If it's a run play, he's not just going to go, all right, well, I'm off the clock. I'll watch this play end, and I'll get ready for the next pass play. No, that's not the guy Johnson is. I love this pick. But what do you guys think? If you had to grade it, what would you give the letter grade? A, B, C, D, or F? I'm hitting A. I like the idea of trading back, and then I like the idea of getting one of my top edge rushers outside of Thibodeau and Hutchinson, who won't be on the clock for you. Maybe Ojabo. I wouldn't be mad about Ojabo, but let me know what your grade is down below. We'll look at some stats here for Johnson to kind of add some color to this picture. 70 tackles for the Seminoles this past season, 18 tackles for loss. This is what I was talking about when I say he's an excellent run stopper. He is not just looking to sack the quarterback and pad his stats. But when he does get after the quarterback, he does it pretty damn well. 12 sacks and also 2 forced fumbles to go along with it. That's why I love this move. I like the idea of picking a player at 13 that you could have gotten for 9, but why not add in a third-round pick? So if someone wants to call Denver and goes, hey, we'll give you a second or a third-round pick if you go back 4 to 7 spots, I'm hitting Y for yes. I'm all over that. I like that idea a lot. I like the idea of stockpiling picks. I like trading back. I think the idea of getting the best player available, even if it isn't your biggest need necessarily, is also a great move in the draft. Speaking of drafts, if you love mock drafts, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I can promise you this. We're putting out free mock drafts all the time here at the Broncos Breakdown. We're looking at the experts, right? What Mel Kiper's saying, even though sometimes him and Todd McShay can be wrong a little bit. But you know what? It's mock draft season, baby, and we are eating it up. We are devouring it. So go ahead, hit that big red button, and subscribe. That way you can get free mock drafts all the time. Speaking of mock drafts, though, it's very dependent on the quarterback situation because let's say Denver doesn't get Rodgers, they don't get Wilson, they pass on Cousins or Garoppolo, right? And then they go, okay, well, we don't like Locke and we don't want to re-sign Bridgewater. Now I think you got to draft a quarterback. So if the Broncos end up trading for Rodgers or Wilson, well, then these mock drafts were, I wouldn't say all for nothing, but the first-round pick is because they're not going to have that number 9 pick if they get Rodgers. That's going to belong to the Packers. So that's why I think the QB situation largely dictates how Broncos mock drafts go. So if you see mock drafts for the Broncos, by all means, whether it's here, elsewhere, watch them, read them, do whatever you want to do because it's fun to take in. But just, I wouldn't say take it with a grain of salt, but just have that in the back of your mind right here of, well, the Broncos may not even be picking at the number 9 spot. And if they are picking a number 9 spot, then they probably didn't get a quarterback they want. So maybe they got to draft a quarterback. All right. Let's move on to the second segment of today's show. GM George Paton is at Indianapolis for the NFL Combine, and he's talking and he's putting some juicy stuff out there. So we're going to break all of that stuff down. First, though, I want to tell you about a great deal going on. Thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Look at this sweet jacket. Comes in multiple colors. It's on sale when you go to chatsports.com/Broncos jackets. If you don't remember that link, no sweat. I've got it in the comments and the description of the video. So check it out, chatsports.com/Broncos jacket. Get it on sale. Get it in whatever color you like. Still winter out there, but the little secret I tell you, everyone, is best time to get a jacket is not when it's cold outside. It's when it's spring or summer because that's the best deals. So going back towards the George Paton comment. So the Broncos team writer, Eric Delilah, he tweeted this out from Indianapolis. George Paton said Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater are still both potential options at quarterback. There's a lot to take away from that. I look at it like this. This is about 80% GM talk, and what I mean by that is I'm not going to jump into that and go, oh my God, we're running it back again. No, I think Payton's just leaving his options open, and he's saying, we're looking at all options. Well, of course you are. That's your job. So I wouldn't look at that and go, well, we're not drafting a quarterback. We're not getting Rodgers. They want to run it back. Not saying that's going to happen, but to me it's like 80% GM talk where GMs just say this kind of stuff because they have to talk to the press. They usually don't want to if I had to guess, or else they would talk to the press way more often than they have to. With that all being said, though, if you had to pick a quarterback, would you go with Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock? Put their jersey number down in the comment section for me. I'm going to go on a hunch and say I'm going to see a lot of 3s. Teddy Bridgewater, I got no issue with Teddy. I just don't want us to repeat the same season we just had, which ultimately ended in a losing season. So I want to see some change. All right, let's move on to the next quote, though. A next tweet coming in from Field Yates, doing a good job of reporting at the Combine. Broncos GM George Paton on running back Melvin Gordon, who will be a free agent this offseason. I've had really good discussions with Melvin. I'd like to have him back. 2 thoughts. 1, I always love when GMs and people and coaches talk about players because they always use the first name. And us as fans, I never think about calling him Melvin. It's Gordon. But this blindsided me. I did not expect this whatsoever for one big reason. You drafted Javonte Williams in the 2nd round last year, and you knew Gordon was on the last year of his contract, so it made some sense, right? You got a rookie running back. How about you get everything you can out of Gordon and then turn it over to Williams in his 2nd year? What's the point of drafting a running back in round number 2 if you're going to have him handcuffed for the first 2 years of his career? And we all know running back lifespans are not long at all. So you want to get the most out of the guy when he's on his rookie deal, when he's at his cheapest. Because you think about some of the best running backs right now, or worst running back contracts, Ezekiel Elliott was not the guy that the Cowboys paid him to be. So that blindsided me. I didn't get that. But Gordon in 2021, you look at the stats here, not bad. He exceeded my expectations. Almost 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Hands up, I was wrong. I bet you could cold takes exposed me back in August. I thought Williams would have a much better year than Gordon, but the Broncos, they fed Gordon the rock a bunch. He had some costly fumbles, but this one I did not see coming, no doubt about it. Do you want Melvin Gordon back for 2022, though? Type 1 for yes or 2 for no. If Melvin Gordon comes back, I hope it's on a team-friendly deal. I don't want to see him get a good lump sum of money in free agency. Also, if the Broncos let him walk and he signs elsewhere, that's a future comp pick for Denver. And I like that idea a lot more than paying Gordon a lot of money when you just drafted Williams in the second round, who had a good rookie year. He had a very good rookie year. That's the end of my TED Talk. Field dates next week coming in. Broncos GM George Paton asked about addressing the QB position this offseason. No stone unturned on that. We know we need to play better at that position. If that's what it takes to be the Broncos GM, hire me. But actually, this may get wild. This may create very interesting if the Broncos don't land Rodgers, and it looks like the latest signals are he may be going back to the pack as they are prepared to make him the highest paid player in the NFL. So they don't get Rodgers. Wilson stays in Seattle. And Kirk Cousins, who maybe isn't what you want to have happen, but he may be the Broncos' plan C, ends up staying in Minneapolis. Garoppolo goes to, say, the Steelers. Well, now you got to look at Drew Lock drafting a quarterback, free agency with Trubisky or Jameis Winston or Teddy Bridgewater. We have fallen very far from Rodgers and Wilson to Trubisky and Winston and Lock and Bridgewater. And that's why I think George Paton has to plan. He's got to have like a manila envelope, a manila folder for every single possibility. If we don't get Rodgers, next. We need a flow chart for this guy. If we don't get Wilson, next. Kirk Cousins, Garoppolo. We have to figure out what the next core chain of events are. And credit to Paton. He's got to do his homework. This is his job. And his most important decision so far as a GM, I think, will be getting the next quarterback. I think it's even more important than Hackett. You can have a great quarterback and a bad head coach and have a good team. But a good head coach and a bad quarterback tends to lead to quarterback coaches getting fired. Just my 2 cents on that. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the channel. Make sure you are subscribed, and we will catch you guys later here on the Broncos Breakdown.